Okay, hi everyone. This is Brianna, and I'm going to be coming in a little late with the fourth week recap of The Bachelor. We know the season. We have Arie, and I don't even need to get into it. We'll just jump right into it. I wanted to do previous recaps, and I just didn't end up going through it. But this time I took notes on the fourth episode, and so I'm ready to talk about it. We start out the episode with them talking about Becca and her age. So, it's already been 4 weeks, and we already see that Becca is a really strong front runner when it comes to Arie. Their chemistry is off the charts. They're always kissing, making out, all that kind of stuff. And because I know that her age is like really different from his. It's kind of like a little weird to see, but they do like each other a lot. And I guess all the other girls can see that as well, that he is really fond of her. So she ends up being the topic of discussion. And that's always what I think of when I watch the show. Like, the girls, do they think of Arie as like their boyfriend? Because then I wouldn't be able to talk about him with another girl and be able to look at his relationship with another girl and be like, oh my gosh, he liked her so much. Then how do I feel about like my relationship with him? Like, how do you, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It's weird when they like compare themselves to the other girls or think like other girls are like front runners. Because I'm like, so then what do you think of yourself? Do you even consider yourself? Do you, like, do you think that you have a chance with him? Do you think that your relationship is better than theirs? Like, it's just a really weird thing, and I know that I definitely could not be a part of this sort of setup. Like, I'm not fighting with other people for a man. There's actually enough of that in the real world that like I don't need to make it worse in like an actual environment where I can directly see my competition and all that. It's weird. But that's what they wanted to do. That's what they signed up for, so that's their business. So yeah, Becca is apparently 22, which makes her 14 years younger than Arie, and they're all talking about this. And I really didn't think that Arie was gonna mind. Like, she's not 18, and even if she was, I'd make her a consenting adult, even though it still really would be weird. And 22 isn't too far from 18, so it's still kind of weird. But they're both consenting adults, so I mean, what are you gonna do about it? So it is what it is. And I don't think that age necessarily correlates with maturity. I myself am 21, and that makes me like, I don't know, a year younger than Becca, depending on her birthday and everything like that. And I know personally, even though I've always wanted to get married young, that I'm not ready for marriage. So, Becca being ready for marriage, I think it's a long shot, but once again, I haven't lived the way Becca has lived. I don't know what she's been through, so I can't judge her and her maturity based on her age and by the way I am at 21. But we can talk about that later because Becca ends up getting a one-on-one this week. So it starts out also with them finding out that they're not going to be having Arie. They're not going to, like, Chris fakes them out and makes them think that they're going to go someplace else. And I don't know, maybe it was my interpretation of what he said, but I thought, like, they were already going to be, like, jetting off to someplace, like, international, like a foreign country or something like that. And they ended up going into Lake Tahoe, which is in Nevada. And so I'm like, oh, so they just went to like a different state, like not even a different country. I don't know. Like, that seemed like a big letdown, but they have to play it up for the camera. So they're like, oh my gosh, we're going to Nevada. We're going to South Lake Tahoe. And I'm like, okay, like, sure, whatever. And they end up at the Hard Rock Cafe Hotel. And so when they get the first date card, they find out that CN is going to be going on the first one-on-one date of that week with Arie. And I love CN. Well, okay, love is too strong a word. I really don't know her personality, but I'm rooting for her. She is gorgeous. She is smart. I don't know too much about her personality, so I was looking forward to seeing it in the one-on-one date. And I gotta tell you, I'm surprised that she got a rose. And not because of her, but because of the way the date went. So they went parasailing, and that looked fun. But then they go to this like little picnic situation afterwards, and they have to talk. And Cian is the only one driving the conversation. It was like literally one of the driest conversations that I've ever witnessed on Bachelor history. And she was the only one saying anything, and I think she tried to pose like questions for him to answer and like expand on, but he was just, like when somebody's like, oh, what did you eat for breakfast, and you're just like, bacon and eggs. And then it's like dead silence until they're like, oh, okay, so what did you do today? And you're like, went to school, went to work. And you're like, like you can do more than that. I was like, I went to school and school was a little hard. You can go into, but he was just answering her questions just to answer them and it didn't go anywhere. So I was like, I don't think he feels a connection with her, or maybe he's intimidated by her. I don't know what it is, but there was not much in this conversation. So I kind of thought he was going to do like what he did with Lauren the week previous and like not give her a rose. But I also think that he's like, no, this is like a Yale student, Yale graduate or whatever. She's beautiful, all the things I already know about her. So I'm not going to let her go so quickly. But honestly, if it was just based off chemistry, I'd have to say that they did not need to continue on with this. Like, he could have just like sent her home. She deserves so much better. She should find someone a little bit more on her level. I mean, I don't know Arie's education, but they're not a match for each other. It was painfully obvious. And but he kept her around, I think, just because he knows that she's like a good catch, but the chemistry was just not there. So I didn't see why he needed to extend it any further, but that's what they did. So moving on to the next thing, that was the group date. And so they went on like a hiking survivalist thing. And so the first part of the survival, they had like 2 Navy SEALs that they brought on board, teaching the girls and Arie survival skills. And they gave them all water bottles. And they told them that they had to pee in the water bottles and drink the pee from the water bottles because, like, you can only survive, I don't know how many days without water. Like, a couple days without water. And so I guess pee is a suitable replacement if you don't have water around. I don't know. So they're like, oh, you should drink your pee or something like that. And so Arie goes first and he takes the water bottle and he drinks the pee, right? And so then they're like, who's up next? Like, who's gonna do this? And so Jacqueline takes it upon herself to open her water bottle and she is about to drink her pee from her water bottle. And then Arie's like, no, don't do that, don't do that. Like, it was a prank. This is apple juice that I drank, okay? So don't do it. So yeah, she was a little overzealous and ready, I think, to like impress him. Or maybe she really is like that, excited. And she's like, I'm down for it. Like, if that's what we're doing, we can do it. It's fine. And then they also go to eat worms. And I think it was Tia, Kendall, the taxidermy enthusiast, and some other chick, I don't know who that was, and Arie. I think it was 3 girls and Arie. And they went to go eat worms. And so now we get to Crystal. I haven't been able to voice my opinions on Crystal before because I haven't recapped the other episodes, but I'm not a fan of Crystal. Her voice grates on my nerves. And she comes off very fake, really, really fake and calculating. And I don't know if she's generally here for Arie or if she's here to play a game. But yeah, so she was judging all the girls and she's like, oh my gosh, like they are so desperate. Like, I would never, like, I'm not eating bugs, I'm not drinking pee just to, gain his interest or get some intrigue. Like, you're doing too much. Like, I don't need to do all of that because I'm Crystal and I'm flawless and whatever. And I'm just like, okay, girl. Personally, I mean, I agree. I wouldn't eat bugs or drink pee to impress Arie. Like, I'm not doing that. It's just, but I don't think it makes the other girls desperate. Maybe they're just, people that, go with the flow. And they're just like, I'm not afraid to try new things. And if this is, a survival technique or whatever, it's not like I'm feasting on bugs for the rest of my life, worms for the rest of my life, So if I just want to say, like, I did that to do it, bucket list stuff. So, okay, what's wrong if I drink a little pee? Once again, not me. And clearly not Crystal, but for the other girls, they're willing to do that. And it's not necessarily that they're just trying to impress Arie, but I'm sure they think in their mind, like, if I do this, like, he might be like, oh, that's kind of cool of you. You're a cool chick to do that. So, I mean, it's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. And so Kendall really gets to shine in this environment, because she's really into the wilderness and the outdoors, and once again into her dead animals. And Arie kind of like she takes Arie aside and they like make out. She like pulls them away from the group for a little bit so they can like kiss by a tree or something. And they And Crystal ends up seeing that, and she's like, like not happy that that happened. But I mean, it is what it is. You're gonna see other girls making out with him, and you just kind of gotta do it. And I couldn't do that. That could not be me. So, then for the rest of that group date, they end up splitting into, I think, three groups it is, and they have to do like a hike to this hot spring or hot tub jacuzzi thing. And so the girls are having a tough time, and there's one group with Arie. Crystal's in that group with Arie, and they make it there first, and they like undress and they have their bathing suits to get into the hot tub. And Arie kind of like scoots over to Crystal, and he has his arm around her. And so when the other girls finally arrive to the destination site for the group date, they kind of see like Arie's giving Crystal extra attention, if you will. And so it was the two girls, Tia and Caroline. Caroline? Yeah. Or is it, yeah, Caroline, not Caroline. They kind of like mimic Arie and Crystal, and Tia kind of is in Crystal's role, and Caroline is like, oh, like that's okay, Arie, like I got my own girl, like we're booed up too and everything like that. And I think it was honestly to mock Arie, to kind of call him out for being so like obvious about his preference, or I'm sure they were a little bit bothered, like annoyed that he has his arm around Crystal, and it's like, there's other girls here vying for your attention. Like, why do you have your arm around her? Why are you giving her any special attention? Like, be over here with the other girls. But somehow Crystal had to make it about herself, and she's like, the girls were coming at me, like they were mocking me, and because Arie wanted to give me attention. It's like, it's not that. And like, I'm not saying that Crystal hasn't had issues in the past with girls possibly being jealous, but not every single time it's somebody being jealous of you. And I think she makes herself the victim. And I keep playing with my hair because it looks crazy. So yeah, that day ends, and then they go into the night portion, and that's when the drama starts to unfold between those girls. So Crystal first goes and she complains to Arie, and it's weird. Like, he's really sexual with her. So like, she's sitting there trying to like talk about her feelings and her issues with the other girls, which I don't think is a good use of her time with him. But like, I notice you can complain about the other girls if like the Bachelor is into you. If the Bachelor is not into you, then he kind of finds it like annoying, and then he's like, oh, you shouldn't have talked to the other girls. It's best not to talk about other girls with the Bachelor or the Bachelorette at the moment. Like, you're kind of guaranteed not to win. If you're somebody that's a part of the drama, it's not going to happen. The only time I've seen it work was maybe with Vanessa and Nick in the previous season, where Vanessa called Nick out for giving Corinne attention, and she still ended up, being proposed to in the end of it all. But usually that's not how it plays out. Usually if you talk about any of the other girls and say you have a problem with this girl and that girl, it's not going to work out for you. He might keep you around for a little bit, she might keep you around for a little bit, but ultimately they don't want any of the contestants that are a part of any sort of drama. But yeah, Crystal's like telling him, oh, like there were some girls that were, I felt like they were coming at me because you were giving me attention in the hot tub. And Arie's just like, he has his arm by her neck, and he's like messing with her like necklace or whatever. And I don't think I don't think he gets anything of what she's saying. Like, I don't think he cares. I think his interest in Crystal is purely sexual. And that's why he's keeping her around. She kind of does oozes a little bit of like sensuality, and it's really in her voice. Like, she could be talking about anything, but to a man's ears it sounds like she's coming on to them. Like, she could be like, oh, do you want fries with that? But that's not her voice. So it's like, do you want fries with that? And then they're just like, fries? You're talking about fries? Are you trying to, So I think that's what it is, and I think that's why he can't like he can't think straight around Crystal and see the person that she is. She's very, very manipulative and whiny and likes to play the victim. It's weird. So after that, she ends up taking Tia and Caroline aside, and she's saying like, you guys were coming after me and you guys were mocking me, and they're like, Crystal, like, nobody was coming after you, nobody was mocking you. But if you feel, a way about the way that we treated you, just understand that that's how we feel about you, like, all the time. Like, we don't appreciate the way you treat us most of the time. And I don't know exactly what Crystal has done to any one of them necessarily, but yeah, they kind of do paint her as a villain, and she does seem very catty, though she doesn't say it to the girl's face. She says it in her videos. But she does also do these random speeches that make her seem as though she's been here before, and it's just like, no, girl, like, why would anybody take advice from you when you're experiencing this the same as the rest of us for the first time? Like, I don't talk like you know what you're doing. And she's just overly confident, and I hate those people. There's nothing wrong with confidence, nothing at all, but cockiness, I have a problem with that. And that's all she exudes, just cockiness and just this false like idea of herself, this like grandiose image of herself, like she's flawless. Girl, nobody's flawless but Beyonce. Okay, thank you. So what else happened? So then, while Crystal is talking to Arie, Tia goes out to speak with Arie, and Arie asks for one more minute. And that's when I kind of figured out that Tia doesn't have a dog in this fight. Usually, I notice, like in previous seasons, the Bachelor, the Bachelorette, usually when the contestants are trying to be like, oh, like, can I cut in now? The Bachelor, the Bachelorette will be like, oh, yeah, sure. And it's usually the person that they're sitting with at the time that's kind of like, can you actually give us 2 more minutes? Like, I just got to sit down with him or her. And they kind of negotiate between themselves, and the Bachelor or Bachelorette is just in there like, yeah, I'll figure that out. And I'll be right here for whoever is ready to come talk to me. But, Arie has been the only Bachelor that I kind of notice has been like vocal, and he'll be like, no, I actually need 5 more minutes with this person. Like last week with Bibiana, the minute she walked out to the telescope like area, and she was like, oh, Arie, can I speak to you? And he's like, can I get 5 more minutes? I was like, Bibiana, go home now. They have never, like, that's him being super obvious about the fact that like, this person, my time with this person is important, and my time with you is least important, because like I can delay that. Like, I'll get to you when I get to you. Like, that's not how you want to be treated. She should have went home right then and there, but like, because I knew she was going home, and I was right, like she did. And granted, Tia didn't go home this episode, but I don't think that's a good sign that he would want to take an extra time with Crystal or like anything like that. Like, if somebody wants to be around you, they're going to be like, yeah, like, you can have me now, or take me now, or you guys decide amongst yourselves, like, I'm good either way. But I think him asking for extra time shows a preference from one person to the other, and that's not a good sign. And by that point, I just be like, I'm done, I'm ready to go. So yeah, he and Crystal, I think they kissed. I mean, why wouldn't they? And then he does end up speaking with Tia, and I don't know what they talk about. She is funny because she prefaced like their conversation with, oh, I don't want to talk about like drama and the girls in the house. But then you kind of end up talking about drama and the girls in the house. I didn't hear them talk about like anything like outside of, like their, like what they see each other in the future being, or like their backstory or anything like that. So I was just like, I don't know what you talked about. So you end up doing exactly what you said you didn't want to do. But it didn't work against her, because he ended up giving her the rose that night. And Kendall, the taxidermist, I skipped over this part, but he did seem to be really into her this episode. And so I didn't consider her before, but maybe she's somebody to consider in the coming weeks. And then we finally go on to what was most expected, which was the date between Becca, short-haired Becca. She's so cute. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. Short-haired Becca and Arie. And they go riding horses, or is it ponies? I'm not sure. Some sort of horse, donkey, pony thing. And then they end up in a hot tub where they make out profusely in the hot tub. And then they finally get to the dinner portion, and Arie starts to talk about how he worries that he and Becca, like, he might not be conducive to Becca's lifestyle. Like, he likes to not party anymore because he's grown up and he's matured, and he likes to wake up early in the mornings and this, that, and the third. And he's like, I don't see you doing that in like your life now. Like, you probably want to go out and have fun, and you probably, sleep in and whatever. And Becca's like, I mean, no, like, I get up early on Saturdays and stuff, and I'll hang out with my friends and stuff. And I'm like, I think that proves his point. Like, you guys aren't on the same like flow yet. So yeah, he's questioning like her lifestyle and his lifestyle, and if they can, like, I guess, compromise, or if he can fit in with her lifestyle, and if she won't like get bored of him. And she's like, do you know how old I am? And he's like, no, like, I have a feeling that you're young, but didn't want to ask too soon. Like, I wanted to get to know you first. Like, how old are you? And she's like, oh my gosh, like, now I don't want to really like tell you. I don't want you to look at me and like all my actions and think, oh, it's because, she's so and so age. And he's like, I mean, yeah, I don't do that now. And she's like, yeah, exactly, because I didn't tell you my age. I'm 22. And he was like, like, his jaw dropped, and he's like, oh, snap, you're 22? Oh, you're young. And she's like, yeah, but I mean, what does that have to do with anything? And so she proceeds to say, like, she grew up in a family where her mother had her by the age of like 23. Her mother was married by 23 and started, being a wife and a mother not too long after, and her siblings, at least one of her siblings, married around 22, 21, that sort of age. So she's like, I'm used to, or I've had examples of young love and people being mature and ready enough for this sort of step already. So I think, like, I can do it too. I don't think you need to worry about it. And he's like, no, like, I actually do have to worry about it. Like, I understand that you think that you're ready for the kind of commitment that may come at the end of all of this, but I don't think you are. And so he's like, yeah, like, when I was 21, like, I thought I was ready, and then years later, now I'm 36, I can look back and be like, nah, I wasn't ready for all of that. And she's like, oh, I mean, like, and he's like, yeah, I don't think. And so so he asked her, like, are you sure you're ready to like be married and all this stuff? And she's like, who knows? Like, no one knows, and blah, blah, blah. And which was a very 22, 21-year-old answer. Okay. I think a person at the age of 30 knowing that they're ready to be married and knowing that they're ready to settle down and have kids would be like, yes, I am ready. I am unequivocally ready. But she's kind of like trying to like circumvent all of that with her talk, and it's just because she's really cute and he's really like into her and her spunkiness and her charm and everything like that he's not thinking straight either. And like, he's not listening to the warning signs because they're clear as day. She's like, like, why don't we take like a risk on this? Like, won't it be worth it? Like, even if it doesn't work out, at least you pursued love with me. And he's like, no, like, it wouldn't be worth it. Like, the whole point I'm on the show is because I want to get married and I want to settle down and I want to have kids. Like, I'm ready for that. So pursuing you and then it not working out wouldn't be worth it. Like, that'd just be a whole waste of this whole journey and my time here. And she's like, okay, like, I don't think that's how it should be. Like, we need to pursue love. Like, this is all about love. And at some point, somehow she convinces him, most likely just because he's like really into her. And he does give her the rose. I wasn't surprised at that because they did show us like in the very first season of like the whole season's upcoming trailer that she ends up crying to him at one point because the girls were, I guess, ridiculing her for being so young and everything like that. And that didn't come up as of yet. So I was like, I mean, clearly she's going to be here. So I wasn't surprised by that at all. I knew it was going to work out. But they have a really strong connection, and like, his and Becca's, sorry, his and Becca's relationship is like the litmus test that I base all the other relationships off of. And so that's why I did not see it with CN like that, like back and forth and that like touchy-feely-ness and intimacy, like the whole time that they were talking about whether or not like he needs to end it with her now or give her a chance and, you know, have their relationship grow despite her age and her readiness. Like, he didn't have that with CN, but he was talking to CN, like, he's like, oh, like, I feel like I know you, even in, like, the 10, 15 seconds that we got to speak, and I'm really interested in you. Like I said, I just think he feels like he has to be interested in her, not that he's truly, duly, like, into her. He just feels like she's gorgeous and she's smart, and so, like, let's make this work, but you can't force something, so I don't see CN winning this, and I don't want her to win this. Like, I personally don't want her to end up with Arie because I just feel like she can do better than Arie. They keep trying to promote him as like this race car driver and this like bad boy, which one, he's no longer a boy. He's 36. Not to, you know, call him old or anything, but he's not a boy. And he really doesn't seem all that athletic. He already is kind of like rocking a dad bod, and I'm not body shaming. I'm just saying, like, yeah, I don't see the edginess. I think he's definitely more of a real estate agent than he is a race car driver. That's something he did, and I think something that they played up so he seems cooler and more like unique and like someone you want to like covet. But he's just a regular schmegular guy at the end of the day. He's just a real estate agent. Like, stop it. So everyone's surprised that he keeps Becca because they know that now her age has, you know, been revealed, and he clearly doesn't seem to care too much about it. And then the rose ceremony happens, and yeah, he skipped over the cocktail party. He says that he already knew who he was going to have and who was going to let go that night. And Crystal decided to take him aside right before he started the rose ceremony, and everybody was mad and rolling their eyes. And I don't remember what she said exactly, but I don't think those make sense either. I think the contestants think they make sense, but personally, like, if the Bachelor is saying that I will not be swayed, so don't even bother with like the whole cocktail ceremony before that, then I don't think like a little 5 minutes aside with them is going to change their mind either. They're just like, I'm hearing you out for like courtesy's sake, but not because I was really going to change my mind. Like, if I was the person in that situation, nothing that you could say at this point would be able to change my mind either. I already made up my mind. Like, I'm not, if I have to range my choices and picks, that just complicates things and draws it out. I just go with my original game plan, no matter what you say. So they play it up for the cameras, and we know that because the beef was between Crystal, Caroline, and Tia earlier on, and Tia ended up getting the rose. So it was just really now down between Crystal and Caroline that they ended up giving Crystal the rose first, and the last rose, and Caroline gets sent home. And I don't really care. I haven't made a connection with anyone per se for me to care who's leaving at this point in time, and I don't mind Crystal staying on for drama's sake. So I'm cool with that. So that is the episode. And towards the end, there was a little, you know how they do like the little funny things, the bloopers at the end of the show. There was one about Marique and Chelsea, which Chelsea, I'm surprised, because originally it seemed as if she was going to be painted as the villain for this season. And she's kind of like toned down from that. And it seems like Crystal has taken the role right now, but I think that, you know, it's going to come back to Chelsea being the villain sooner or later, so I'm waiting for that. But yeah, Marique was complaining to Chelsea that Chelsea had spoken to Arie and said that Marique seems really conceited and into herself because when they were on their hiking trip, she kept checking out her appearance and fixing her hair in the reflection of the compass. And she's like, how dare you glam shame me? And I don't know, I found that hilarious just because I've never heard that term before, and I love how everything nowadays, if you like criticize anyone, it's all of a sudden some type of shaming. So I just thought it was funny, though honestly a lot of them body shaming, slut shaming, all that kind of stuff, those are legitimate, things, and you shouldn't judge people on that. But I kind of thought it was funny how she made up this whole new term or whatever. You're glam shaming me. How dare you criticize me for, trying to look my best at all times. So that was the episode. I'm excited to see the next week's episode wherein it seems like Crystal will finally get in trouble and Arie might send her home packing because clearly she seems to be talking crap about him, which is new and I've never heard that before. But yeah, so maybe she's going to get in trouble. And I think that's when the following week after that, Crystal will leave. My prediction is Crystal will leave next season. Crystal will leave next week, and then the following week after that, Chelsea will now reclaim her role as the intended villain for the rest of the season. So that was my recap, you guys. Please comment and like and tell me what you think about, the events of this episode. Tell me how my recap goes, what I can work on. And I'll see you in the next one. I'll try to be consistent. Like, I really want to do this. I love to talk about The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise. I have so many thoughts all the time, but I don't have many people to share them with, and it's just too long to write out. So I'd rather just record these videos and get into a dialogue that way. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.